machinists and cutters without this sudden increase in output.
Well, I would have to see the factory first before giving this more thought.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, we'll meet whatever requirements you think are necessary. I mean, separate work areas, facilities. Without appearing too eager, would this afternoon be suitable? I'll send a car to pick you up.
Oh, that will not be necessary. It would have to be after 5.
Marvelous.
When are you going to learn to keep your big mouth shut?
They chucked Smith in the pound?
No, they didn't find anything. And they're not going to either.
She lays a hand on me, the screws will know why.
She won't. But you know, you're not going to even be able to sneeze without her knowing about it now.
Well, how am I going to get the dough from her family?
Well, she won't be watching me.
So?
You still got that $5 you got from Lizzie?
Yeah? So what?
Well, I think you ought to place a little bet on the Gigi's.
Nah, that's a mug's game.
Come on, Noel, listen to me, huh? Now, you said yourself, Margot has got a lot of money stashed away somewhere, right? She's going to have to put your bet with it. And when she does, I'm going to be there watching her.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know, you should look me up when you get out of here. I reckon we make a real good team.
Yeah.
Have you read this? Well, she can't be serious. One minute they're all on loss of privileges, the next minute she's talking about letting them out on work release.
There's nothing definite yet. Mrs. Davidson just wants us to think about it.
I already have.
Well, I haven't. Now, I'm going home now to do some more unpacking, then I'll settle down, and then I'll think about it.
Well, it's a wonder you can do that with all that crying going on next door.
Oh, yes. I'll be seeing Gail again tonight.
Well, it's obvious she doesn't know how to bring up children. A good smack, and they'd soon learn to be quiet.
Vera, you don't know anything about her or the situation.
I've seen what her husband's like, and if you involve yourself, he's just the type to turn nasty.
If I can help that girl, I will.
Oh, Mrs. Davidson, it's about this work release program. There's not one amongst them you can trust, and you're talking about at least 6. They'll have to be constantly supervised, and not to mention the transport problems.
It will be the same as supervising them in here. It won't mean any extra duties for the officers, and I'm sure the department can spare the funds to hire a bus.
You sound as if you've already made up your mind.
We can discuss it at the meeting tomorrow. It's pointless doing it now before I've seen the factory.
But after this morning's little
Well,
episode...
Bob may have been lying, but knowing how well the women can hide things, it wouldn't hurt to keep an eye on them. And if they do have the items, at least we're not giving them the opportunity to enjoy them.
Hi.
Hi. I didn't forget him.
Oh, there was no rush. I wanted to catch up with you later anyway. Have you got a few minutes to spare?
Oh, I've got to go back to the shops before they shut. I don't know. Every time I go shopping, I'm always forgetting something. So busy keeping the kids out of trouble, and then they start screaming, and I can't wait to get out of the place. But I just put Stevie down, and Katrina will be okay for a couple of minutes, so I just got this one to keep an eye on.
And why don't you leave him with me? It would really give you a clear run.
Oh, I don't know. He can be a bit of a handful.
Oh, I don't mind. I can manage.
Well, if you're sure, that'd be great.
Come on, Jason.
You be a good boy for Mrs. Jackson.
We'll get along just fine.
Oh, thanks, Meg.
Oh, we'll have that chat when you come back, okay?
Okay, see you later.
Bye. Wow. Been a long time since I've had a 3-year-old running around the place. Now, what are we going to do, eh? Well, I know what Marty liked to do when he was your age. Let's have a look at that arm. I wonder whether you really are as clumsy as your mother says. I hope that's all, his little fella.
I don't see any difficulty with the area you have in mind at all. In fact, to be perfectly honest, the women will be working in far better conditions than they've been used to.
Well, I think we've come a long way since the Industrial Revolution.
I see you concentrate on large orders.
It forms the main part of our output, yes. And it's where the money is. Although I do manage to keep some of the more exclusive lines going. A small indulgence of mine. Reminds me of when I used to work in Europe, when one design meant one garment, not 1,000.
Did you ever get to Paris?
I studied design there for 3 years.
Oh.
You know it.
It's one of my favorite cities.
I'll have a word with you, Mr. Reynolds. It's urgent.
Oh, yes, Vince. Vince Talbot, Mrs. Davidson. Vince is my foreman. He'll be keeping an eye on things. And you couldn't ask for better.
Mr. Talbot?
Have you read?
Would you excuse us for a moment?
Yes, of course.
The union won't be happy. getting in scab labour?
Now, look, Vince, you know as well as I do, I've already had it out with the unions. They weren't too happy at first, but I've smoothed things out. So don't rock the boat.
Yeah, well, some of the women have been grumbling already. They don't like being undercut by a bunch of crims.
They'll have as little to do with them as possible, and it's your job to keep the peace, Vince.
Yeah, well, they see it as a takeover.
But, oh, that's rubbish, and you know it. Now, look, if we don't fill that order, we go broke, and then everybody's out of a job. We need those prisoners, Vince. Now, just remember that.
Where is he?
Well, see for yourself. He's been helping me in the kitchen.
Come on, mate. Look, do me a favour, eh? Next time my wife asks you to look after the kids, tell her you're too busy, will you?
Mr. Summers, you can't expect Gail to stay locked up in a small flat with 3 young children 24 hours of the day.
Look, what I don't expect your so-called bloody neighbours sticking their noses in where they're not wanted.
You're home early?
Yeah, which is more than I can say for you.
Thanks, Meg. Must have had a good time. He's out like a light.
Why do we need all this?
Was on special.
And the soup?
You like soup, Tim. I forgot.
Look, I am working like a dog to pay for this lousy place. Do you think I do shift work because I like it? I mean, this place may not be much, but it's the best thing you're ever going to have, and you can't even bloody well look after it. Or you don't care.
Oh, I'm doing my best, Tim, honest.
A simple thing like shopping, and you louse it up. I mean, anybody with half a brain could do it. You leave the kids at home, or you dump them on the neighbours.
It was only for a minute. I just wanted to get him out of the road.
What difference does that make? I mean, you can't even bloody get the shopping right.
I was tired. I wasn't thinking straight, all right?
Tired? What do you do around here that makes you tired? I mean, look at this place. Well, you're not exactly busting a gut around here, are you?
Can't you understand? I just need you to help me sometimes, that's all.
Now look what you went and done.
You're the one that started it.
Yeah, well, don't just stand there. Go and see what's wrong.
Why can't you do it?
Look, I do my fair share around here. Don't you worry about that.
What? What have you ever done for me? Except yell all the time?
Yeah, well, someone's got to do it because you're so bloody useless. Every time I come home, it's the same old thing. Well, I've just about had it with you, with the lot of you.
It's Jason. He fell out of bed. He's not moving.
Nurse Maguire to reception, please. Nurse Maguire. Doctors Wright and Brown to casualty, please. Doctors Wright and Brown.
Gail?
How is he?
I'd like to keep him under observation overnight, in case of concussion.
Will he be all right?
I think so. It's very lucky, though. A bump like that, he could have very easily fractured his skull. You say he fell out of his bed?
Well, he could have hit his head on the leg. And we don't have carpet on the floor. I just found him, lying there.
All right, Mrs. Summers. We'll take good care of him.
Did Tim go into the children's room before he left?
I think he went in to tell him to shut up.
You're going to be all right on your own.
Oh, Tim will be back later. He's always walking out. And he has a few drinks with his mates, and he'll be back. Oh, jeez, he's going to be angry when he finds out about Jason.
Has he ever hit you or the children?
Once or twice. Oh, but he doesn't mean it. His bark's worse than his bite.